The British Truck Racing Championship 2017 brought to you by Goodyear and Towergate Insurance.
Hi everybody, a very warm welcome to Brands Hatch for the final rounds of the 2017 British Truck Racing Championship. Division 2 sewn up last time by the Flying Finn, Mika Macklin, that was at Pembrey, and Ryan Smith is currently poised to secure the Division 1 crown once again here at Brands Hatch. Let battle commence.
Ryan Smith, we've got a bit of breaking news here because I understand the grid is incorrect and you're now on pole position.
Well, hopefully, but the transponder wasn't working and the times don't match up. So, yeah, we did the fastest lap. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll go and find out.
4 races to go. That means 40 points on the table. You're 39 points ahead. It'd be a brave man to bet against you not taking the title. But it's nice it's come to Brands and wasn't decided at Pembrey.
Brands is my favourite circuit, and you know I'm glad that it's came down to Brands Hatch. It's world famous circuit for us all, and it should be a fantastic weekend. I'm excited. All my family and friends are here. It's going to be a really, really good show.
Morning, sir. What brings you to Brands Hatch?
Trucks, most certainly. Watch all the races, brilliant.
And sum up the appeal of British truck racing for us, please.
It's just massive, it's getting bigger every year now. Much better, so yeah, more trucks on the grid as well.
How would you persuade somebody to come and watch truck racing?
The spectacle, sheer spectacle, and the showboating, the smell and the smoke that normally you don't get in Formula One, for instance.
And why have you come truck racing?
First time out, first time experience, and the fireworks, of course.
How did you find out about the truck racing?
Online and through social media.
Good family day out, madam?
So far it's been yes.
Yep. And are you guys enjoying it as well?
Yeah.
What is it that brings you here?
Oh, I've always had an interest in trucks. My dad used to have trucks and everything, and it's wonderful to see them running around the track and everything. And I particularly was interested in Dave when he was doing that programme with Guy Martin and everything as well. But I love coming down here. It's a great weekend. Actually, fact, we have got some friends that have come with us this weekend. They've come down for the first time and they're enjoying it so far. So hopefully they'll come again.
So much for the fans to see here at Brands Hatch. But here's the real reason they're here, the truck racing. Shane Brereton, pole from Ryan Smith, Stuart Oliver and Dave Jenkins from Simon Reed and Luke Taylor, Matt Summerfield and Fran Smith, row 4, Ray Coleman, Michael Oliver, Ricky Collett and Terry Gibbon complete the grid for Class A, the Division 1 trucks. And as we look at the trucks coming towards us, the right-hand side of the front row is the championship leader. All he needs to do is outscore Stuart Oliver by a solitary point. Oliver needs to win all 4 races this weekend in order to get the championship. So here we are, Brereton versus Smith. Ryan Smith has a quick start. Dave Jenkins from row 2 is quick as well, but Stuart Oliver on the inside line. They're going to feel their way through Paddock Hill Bend, which is wet and slippery. Nasty conditions for these trucks. But look at the champion through on the outside line. Ryan Smith leads here. He'd love to wrap it up with a win on his beloved Brands Hatch circuit. Brereton second, Oliver third. Superb to see the Rainbow Warrior truck out again as well. Fran Smith in the former Keith Sandbergen truck. And then we've got Simon Reed in the 89, Matt Summerfield in the 84. Matt's been taking quite a few race wins in that machine. Ray Coleman, he's up at the sharp end of the championship as well. 6th position in the table for him. But it's Ryan Smith that leads them around. Schmidt has a little bit of a wobble onto the grass, rejoins in front of Simon Reed and Matt Summerfield. They're all feeling their way, just working out the racing conditions for this first race of the weekend here at Brands Hatch. And Brands suitably, a bit like the British Touring Car Championship, tops and tails our calendar. Look at the back end, talking of tails, the tail end of Simon Reed's machine wanting to get out of shape. We start here at Brands Hatch, of course, in March or April time, and wind up with this fantastic festival field meeting in November with a big firework display and the trucks on track at the end. It's a wonderful weekend. If you've not been before, shame on you. Please come down next year. Smith getting it locked up again, going into Druids, the tightest corner on the track, and that allows Simon Reed through. The top four, though, all driving exceptionally well at the moment and settled down. They're in 69, fourth place. David Jenkins, the former champion, he's watching Stuart Oliver in the 7 truck. Up ahead of them, Shane Brereton. Brereton really marked out as a future champion. Ryan Smith is there as well. Brereton, the newest driver out of the top 4 that you're looking at. Done a couple of seasons now. Lights ablaze from Simon Reed, Stoke-on-Trent man in the Reed Truck Sport, Iveco Stralis. There's Ricky Collett in the 95. What a character Collett is, comes from Halifax. And multi-race winner as well. And here we come then with this three-way scrap for second position, but third being disputed a little bit more at the moment. Jenkins in the digraph truck looks to the outside line. It was Dave Jenkins that the lady we were talking to was speaking about, doing the work with Guy Martin. And Dave Jenkins, a great character and a super driver, looks to the outside line here of Stuart Oliver. This is the closest battle. Jenkins looking for grip on the outside at Druids. Reed still there from Summerfield. Ryan Smith's checked out and is down the road. The championship leader looks like he's going to wrap up this year's successful defence of his championship with a win in the opening race of the weekend. Couldn't write a script better than that, really, could you? Well, aside from maybe going to the last race of the year. But outright win for the champion to secure the championship is exactly what he and his sponsors would like. And it's a good way to open the weekend for the crowd here, and it does in some respects take the pressure off him for the rest of the weekend, so he can race and enjoy the rest of the weekend. But there's still plenty of other places to dispute. In terms of the championship, Stuart Oliver runs second in the table from Dave Jenkins. Shane Brereton is currently fourth in the table from Matt Summerfield, and then Ray Coleman, who we mentioned there, he's in the number 2 car chasing Brad Smith at the moment. But look at this battle for third. Oliver on the inside line. This is canny stuff from Stuart Oliver. Knows that inside is what he needs to not block from Jenkins, but to defend. But also, having said that, Oliver closing up on Brereton, has a little wobble, and that leaves him wide and leaves half a gap for Jenkins, who comes through. The MAN in black, Dave Jenkins, the digraph machine, goes through. Read that well, pops up the inside. Jenkins up into P3. And on the podium, Stuart Oliver, if he did have an outside chance of taking the title, it's just gone a step back. Look at Jenkins, though. He's got momentum all over the back of Brereton. Ryan Smith still the leader, improving lap times raced by. And look at that, Jenkins, no mucking about. Straight on the inside line, into Surtees, takes second position. Brereton down to third, still on the podium in the Tour Trucks machine. And he'll now look in his mirrors and see Stuart Oliver right behind him. He'll try and chase down Dave Jenkins, of course. Meanwhile, Franz Schmidt still there ahead of Ricky Collett, and then the number 12 of Michael Oliver. Luke Taylor is following them in his Scania. And Collett challenging that's for 8th position as Ryan Smith goes across the line and onto the last lap. So just 1.2 miles stand between Ryan Smith and the 2017 championship as Collett finds the gap down the inside line of Smith. Great move by Ricky Collett into 8th place. Racing right the way down the field here, and Collett really saw that opportunity. And you know, even though we've had the fastest guys off the front, we've seen some passing here. Here's the guy who's done most of it. Jenkins in second position, Brereton third, Stuart Oliver in 4th place, Simon Reed in 5th, and soaking up the pressure from Matt Summerfield. Those two have got a bit of an advantage over Ray Coleman and Ricky Collett. But now look at this showboating from Ryan Smith. He knows he's got the championship. He's fishtailing for the crowd on South Bank here. You've got to admire Ryan Smith. Look at the lead that he's got. He got the fastest lap on the previous tour, lap 10. I dare say he might have been able to go faster, but he is celebrating and he's rubbing the other's nose in it, to be quite frank. Smith's going to take the win. It's going to be Jenkins in a hard-earned second place, Hard-earned 2 for third at the moment with Brereton, with Oliver still all over the back of him. But here is the 2017 British Truck Racing champion, Ryan Smith, who takes the checkered flag. Smith is champion, Jenkins second, Shane Brereton takes third, Stuart Oliver is in fourth place, former Division 2 champion Simon Reed next. Here's the result: win, championship, fastest lap to Ryan Smith. Dave Jenkins next from Shane Brereton and Stuart Oliver. Simon Reed fifth from Summerfield Coleman. And Collett, Smith, Oliver, Taylor and Gibbon complete the finishers.
Ryan, we're there. You are the 2017 British Truck Racing Association champion for the second time from 16 and 2017. So, obvious question, how does it feel?
Great, and you know, the first time's always a special moment, but actually it's a bit like deja vu because we did it exactly under the same circumstances last year. But no, absolutely delighted. We've won a lot of races this year, we've won a lot of races last year. We've genuinely got the pace. I think now's the time to announce that we should move on to other things and try something new.
So no more British Championship in 2018. You're not going to return to defend?
We're not going to return to defend the 2018 Championship, but we will be about, and we will still be promoting our sponsors, because without sponsors, every sponsor's had an input into where we are today. So we owe a lot to the sponsors.
David, a good result to kick off the weekend. Obviously 4 races here this weekend, so second place for you, and the Championship's now decided. We kind of always knew it would be in the favour of Ryan Smith, and we can go racing now, can't we?
Yeah, I think the second to fifth is really, really tight in the championship. So obviously that's where our focus is this weekend. I think we've got Stuart in second place now by a handful of points to me, and then a few points to Shane, a few points to Matt. You know, really, really tight. The truck was faultless in that race. Credit to my team again, and to my sponsors that have facilitated us to have such a great truck behind us.
Shane, congratulations, third place. That's one of the races that's done to the conventional manner in terms of the grid done on times, but it's reverse grids from now on. But clearly the pace of number 17 is pretty good this weekend.
Yeah, we put it on pole, but I think we made a slight mistake for the race setup. It dried up a bit more than we thought, but it's difficult conditions. You never know what way it's going to go. But I like the races from the back.
Already champion, and Tony Smith makes a great start ahead of Mackinnon, with Luke Garrett slotting into second position. This is the third time that we've tried to start the race, and away they go. Adam Bint in fourth place, Tony Smith leads them into Druids. Garrett in second position. Look how crowded it is, a massive entry, 18 Division 2 trucks. So Smith leading it at the moment, Garrett second, Mackinnon third, then Bint. Steve Powell is there as well, Powell front running in the championship. Another front runner there, 41 beast of Simon Cole getting stuck in. And busy chasing Leicestershire-based driver Brad Smith in the 16. But going through into the lead at Druids, it's Luke Garrett. Garrett passes the early leader, Tony Smith. Smith down to second, Garrett the leader, Mika Mackinnon back in third. Fourth place is Adam Bint. Long Cooper straight they go. And coming down towards the checkered flag now, it's going to be another win for Luke Garrett. Garrett takes the win, 3 seconds clear of Tony Smith in second place, Mika Mackinnon the champion in third. Fourth place went to Steve Powell from Adam Bint and John Bowler, then Simon Cole, Marco Donk 8th from James Aikenhead, John Powell in 10th from Jim Bennett.
It was a difficult race, wasn't it? Because it was kind of in 3 parts and red flags kept coming out, but it maybe played into your hands in the end.
Yeah, I think it did, because I was struggling to get past Mika on the second restart. So yeah, I think the third restart, obviously, I could slingshot Mika on the start. So yeah, it was definitely a better finish.
And you knew what you wanted to do at Paddock. It was just a case of having enough attempts to actually finish it off.
Yeah, I was trying to get past Mika for a few laps, but he's an awesome driver, Mika, and he made it very difficult for me to pass him. So yeah.
Congratulations to Luke Garrett. It's the Mark Luck pace truck that leads them around for our second Division 1 race. Terry Gibbon on pole position from Luke Taylor. Michael Oliver and Fran Smith on row 2. Ricky Collett and Ray Coleman from Matt Summerfield and Simon Reed. Shane Brereton and Stuart Oliver on the penultimate row, with David Jenkins and Ryan Smith off the back. This is the grid based on the result of race 1, but reversed. So it gives everybody a fair chance at the front end of things over the course of the meeting. So side by side, Gibbon and Luke Taylor. Conditions better now, as you can see, and it's Terry Gibbon that leads them off pole position. Luke Taylor's going to have a swoop round the outside line, but Gibbon holding on to the inside. Third position is Michael Oliver. Big sort out going on there, getting physical at the back, and it's the 37 truck of Terry Gibbon out front. Luke Taylor is in second. Look how busy this is. This is what happens with the reverse grid races. If you've not been truck racing before, as you heard Johnny Palmer, our interviewer, saying, look at that, 3 wide as they come down the hill. Contact between Ray Coleman in the number 2 and 69 Dave Jenkins, who braves it out. Ryan Smith looking round the outside line. The enigmatic Mr. Smith talking after race 1 about doing other things next year. I reckon we'll still see him racing in the British Truck Racing Championship. You try keeping him away, I'm sure he'll be back. He's putting Dave Jenkins under pressure. Jenkins, for my money, was driver of the race in race number 1. The digraph machine looking absolutely superb. 2 very well timed overtakes from him, and another one here on Frans Smit, the man from Kampen in Holland, goes through on the inside line, does Jenkins, comes from Staffordshire, the Jenkins Transport digraph Morris Lubricants truck running superbly and making good progress. Remember, started off the back row of the grid, having finished second in race number 1. Matt Summerfield round the outside line, Ricky Collett giving chase, Jenkins closing up on him. This is a good place to stand and watch, actually, Druids, if you ever come truck racing, because they pile in there. Luke Taylor looking at blue skies, looking at the race leader Terry Gibbon, who is out front. Terry, a returnee to the championship this year. The T-Sport truck running well. Taylor in second, Summerfield third. Then it's Michael Oliver, who we've seen grab podia so far this year. We're just waiting for Michael's first win. It will come, mark my words. Battling prospect here between Jenkins and Ryan Smith. That would be the one I think I'd probably be watching in terms of particularly what happened in race number 1. Here comes Ryan Smith, though. Jenkins runs a little bit wide there, but you can see leaving just enough room for Smith to come through if needs be. Jenkins is always a clean, fair driver. Chops across when he gets the chance, annexes that position. He's going to be looking ahead to see what Collett and Oliver are doing. Collett's got the run up the inside line. Who's going to slot through? Ryan Smith spotted that as well. And Smith trying to come through, but Jenkins powers his way back in front of Smith. Couldn't quite get close enough to the 2 machines in front to slot through on the inside line. Oliver's back end wants to come around. Ryan Smith's trying the inside line here. Watch him. I was going to say, watch Ryan Smith tuck back on the inside line, and now he does. Goes wide, controlling the truck well. Jenkins still holds on to position. Super battle between those 2. Ray Coleman in the Lantern truck closing up as well. Ricky Collett still at the head of this one. Now Ryan Smith's found a gap, and the Taylor's PT Hire machine goes through on the inside line. He found the gap. Ray Coleman read that well too. He slots through on the inside line as we rejoin the leaders. Terry Gibbon and Luke Taylor across the line, down into Paddock Hill Bend. This is a daunting corner in a car. I can't imagine what it's like in one of these big trucks. Taylor closing in, sun in her eyes as we go up the hill. Inside line into Druids, back to the outside line. Try and get a bit of momentum, maybe down the hill into Graham Hill Bend. Matt Summerfield still there in 3rd place. And I fancy that Summerfield might be closing in. And was that an error there? A spin for Terry Gibbon, who bounces gently into the tyres. He's facing the right way-ish, but he's got to wait for a safe moment to rejoin. That was a shame. He maybe got on the gas a little bit too soon, or maybe hit the wet part of the circuit on the outside. You can see a drying line here, so it's Luke Taylor out front. Second position with Matt Summerfield. Matt's going to fancy his chances of a win here, but it ain't going to be easy because Luke Taylor is no easy driver to catch or indeed pass. So Luke Taylor's MAN. Here we go though. Ricky Collett coming under pressure, and look how Ryan Smith throws the truck on the inside of Ricky Collett to make that position. Collett passed, Ryan Smith through. Ryan's made a fair bit of ground away to break away from the likes of Dave Jenkins. So Smith on his way through. The champion, Shane Brereton, trying to work his way through. Just looking at the lap times, which is why I refer to Brereton. Lighting up the screens at the moment. Recovery for Terry Gibbon. How much of recovery can he make? He's got a lot of work to do. He might score a few points in this race. Only the top 10 that score points, and we have 12 runners in the race now as Ray Coleman tries to go down on the outside at Druids, inside line for Graham Hillben, but there's momentum for Michael Oliver, who holds on to position there. So it's Oliver from Coleman, David Jenkins, Simon Reed coming up to join as well. Coleman looks on the inside line here. Can he put the lantern truck through on the inside line? Yes, he does. Muscles his way through. Oliver, I thought, was going to try and fight back, but didn't quite have the pace to go back on the inside line. And the Silver Kelso 12 is going to have to watch now from David Jenkins. Shane Brereton, I said, was running well. Brereton on the inside line of Reed. Stuart Oliver immediately behind them, and Oliver gets a good run through Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight, the main straight here at Brands Hatch. But again, Simon Reed on the outside line gets decent momentum off Clark Curve, but Oliver's got the inside run down into paddock, and they'll break. They're side by side, they're giving each other room, and it's going to be Oliver going through. Simon Reed has to use a little bit of the gravel. It was half polite, wasn't it now? And contact there! Is that Brereton involved in contact? Shane Brereton. Meanwhile, we go back with Stuart Oliver. Brereton still up ahead of David Jenkins. Look at the bent front end of Brereton's truck. All this truck racing is always physical. You hardly ever hear drivers moaning too much about a little bit of contact like that. They like to have a little moan every now and again, of course, which racing driver doesn't. And so through they go. Brereton from David Jenkins, and then Stuart Oliver. The championship still poised, second, third and fourth coming into this race between Oliver, Jenkins and Brereton. Oliver on 198 points, Jenkins 4 points behind, 1 point per place, remember, in terms of where they finish, and Brereton a further 4 points behind Jenkins. So Brereton needs to stay ahead of both of those drivers to try and move up towards second place in the championship. Simon Reed busy chasing Stuart Oliver. Here's the race lead though. Luke Taylor still there at the moment from Matt Summerfield. Summerfield chasing hard. He's caught him, but where can he get past, if anywhere? Taylor will be watching his mirrors. He knows this racetrack well. He knows his truck well this year as well. And comes off Clark Curve onto Brabham Straight. It looks like he's got a decent run here as they go down across the line. Summerfield has lost a little bit of ground on that lap, but he'll have to try and build the momentum up once again. Down into paddock. Luke Taylor still in front. There's Michael Oliver and David Jenkins with Stuart Oliver right behind. Into Surtees, through McLaren. Jenkins taking a wide line here. He's going wide to try and get momentum onto the last two corners. You can't go too wide if you're being followed, because there's that inside run that the driver behind can take. If the driver behind takes a wide line, he too can gain a lot of momentum along the straight. That's what Oliver's trying to do. Across the line they go. Still got this superb battle for the lead, and closing up on them now is Ryan Smith. So Summerfield really needs to think about when he's going to make the move, if he does. And Ryan Smith closing on them, hand over fist at the moment in third place. Is Smith going to take a win here from the back of the grid in race two? Clear track and clear skies for Luke Taylor, the race leader, who comes across the line. Look at Ryan Smith, goes to the outside line here, maximising the momentum as they go onto the last lap. Matt Summerfield still there in second place. Ryan Smith chasing. So too is Summerfield, the race leader. And here comes Smith now up the inside line. Ryan Smith and tags the back end of Summerfield. The back end comes around on Summerfield's truck, spins in front of Ryan Smith, off into the gravel, I think, at Druids. And that means that Taylor should have done enough to take the win on this last lap. Taylor in front as they come down the hill for the last time from Ryan Smith. They're on the last lap, and we've lost Matt Summerfield in this one. There was a little bit of contact between himself and Ryan Smith, but Luke Taylor looks like he's going to take the win. It's the Taylor's back truck, though, of number one, this year's champion, Ryan Smith, who's still there in second place. Ricky Collett has come through into third, so Collett's on for a podium here, but the race win is going to go from Luke Taylor. From the front of the grid, Terry Gibbon lost it earlier on. Taylor takes the win, Ryan Smith in second, right from the back of the grid. Fine racing going on. Shane Brereton got the fastest lap on lap 14. That was the penultimate lap, and he's chasing Ray Coleman. Coleman in fourth place, Brereton in fifth. Can Shane get up into fourth? It looks like Coleman is going to hang on to it. Third position has gone the way of Ricky Collett. Here they come down to the flag. Ray Coleman takes an excellent fourth place. Brereton in fifth. Luke Taylor, Ryan Smith, Ricky Collett next from Ray Coleman, fastest lap to Shane Brereton, Michael Oliver next, then David Jenkins and Stuart Oliver, Terry Gibbon 9th, Fran Smith, Matt Summerfield and Simon Reed on finishers.
Luke, congratulations. A cracking way to kick off your Sunday here at Brands Hatch. You needed to do a little bit of overtaking past Terry Gibbon, but the name of the game was defending towards the end.
Yeah, I started off, my initial plan was to get to the front and lead the race, but I had to follow Terry for a bit, and he made a few mistakes, and I seen an opportunity, so we got past. And then all of a sudden Matt come out of nowhere, started making a few little mistakes towards the end, and I just had to defend a little bit more from Matt, and then Ryan come out of nowhere and give me a bit of breathing space, you know, so it took the heat off a little bit.
Ricky, an entertaining race to kick off Sunday here at Brands Hatch. You managed third place.
Yeah, a bit of luck really at the end with Matt's accident, but you had to be in the mix to be there, so that were okay, yeah.
What's the pace of your truck like when you, I mean, that's the beauty of a reverse grid. You can start vaguely towards the front and then get a feel of how you might be running versus everybody else.
Yeah. Well, on the lap times I've looked, I was actually setting fastest, so pace is good with the truck, yeah.
And that's good when you've got 4 races here to do.
Yeah. Obviously we'll be starting from further back next time, make it more fun.
The show truck lineups have been very impressive all season long, and that very high standard was maintained for our final weekend here at Brands Hatch. Congratulations to everybody who's entered this year, and congratulations to our best in show this weekend, James Richardson's Siberian Express. Eric Forstrom on pole position for our second Division 2 race. Joanne Easton alongside, then Trevor Martin and Jim Bennett. John Powell Road 3 with James Aikenhead, Marco Donk and Simon Cole. John Bowler and Adam Bint are next from Steve Powell and Mika Mackinnon, Tony Smith and Luke Garrett on row 7. Brad Smith on row 8 with Wayne Eason. Paul McCumsky and Andrew Fulcher completing the grid. Massive field here in Division 2. They're checking up a little bit. They're all behaving themselves at the minute, but the lights go out, and look at that! From the 4th row, Simon Cole takes to the grass, so too does Adam Bint. I'm not sure if that might attract some penalties. Jaron Eason, I think, has a little bit of a tap, but the race leader is Eric Forstrom as they go around Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Marco Donk on the inside line is passed by Luke Garrett. Jaron Eason immediately ahead. Jim Bennett in green looking to come through as well. Simon Cole is challenging for the lead from 8th on the grid. I'm not sure if that will be judged as a jump start. He'll probably say he had nowhere else to go because he was getting on the gas, had to go on the grass. So too did Binty, who's in the mix. So from 8th on the grid into the lead at Druids, not something you see very often in truck racing. So hats off to Simon Cole. He leads it. Trevor Martin getting a bit tail happy there, coming under pressure from the Mad Croc himself, this year's champion Mika Mackinnon. Martin on the inside line of Eric Forstrom. He's there, but Simon Cole in the beast is away and down the road. Martin holding on in good style here in second place at the moment from the champion. Forstrom coming under pressure from John Bowler in 14. Binty looks on the inside line, makes the challenge. Not sure if he's going to get the run here. Bowler probably has more momentum coming off Clark Curve and onto Bradburn Straight. Passes Eric Forstrom. Great to welcome Eric to the championship, the Finnish driver, and side by side between Bowler and Bint, the two Bs, as we get alliterative down into paddock. Binty wanting to miss the debris on the circuit, so Bowler holds position. Cole out front at the moment. Here is Simon Cole, now into second place Mackinnon. Martin is third, then John Bowler from Binty. Forstrom coming under pressure from Luke Garrett. Joanne Easton still in the mix. Paul McCumsky immediately behind her as they go up into Druids. And what a splendid field. You know, the race fans enjoying Steve Powell going down the inside of his brother John. Good to see John back. Tony Smith as well, second place in the championship, going through on the inside line. Tony Smith second, Adam Bint third in the standings. Simon Cole here looking to try and close in on Binty for third place. He wants that third position trophy at the end of the season. And contact between Paul McCumsky and Joanne Eason going into Surtees, and they're on the grass on the inside, the Clearways Oval they used to call it. Paddy Mack I think is still going. No other trucks involved thankfully. Paul McCumsky is hopefully going to get going again. Hopefully so too will Joanne Eason, but it doesn't look good for the lady driver on her home circuit. I was saying earlier on, as through on the into the lead goes Mika Mackinnon. Simon Cole leaves the door open at Druids, and the champion goes through. Mackinnon leads from Cole. That's 1 point less potentially for Simon Cole. This could take him on to 1-4-2. If Adam Bint doesn't score in this race, it will close in for third place in the championship standings. And I'll finally get to say it, the race fans here enjoying Division 2 every bit as much as Division 1 this weekend. So Mackinnon, the Flying Finn, it's a great truck, but he's driven it well, of course, all year. Through goes Steve Powell. There's Tony Smith, Eric Forstrom, Marco Donk, the Dutchman in the mix as well. John Powell goes through. Then James Aikenhead. Andrew Fulcher in the Immaculate Lenham truck as well, one of the Team Power Racing entries with Steve Powell. Marco Donk busy challenging Eric Forstrom. It is once again a truly international effort for the truck racing here at Brands Hatch. You wouldn't credit this as being November, would you, to look at the sunshine, but this is day 2 of the meeting, and the conditions on day 1 were considerably more challenging. Most difficult thing they've got to deal with now is maybe a little bit of sun in your eyes. There's John Bowler, who's running well in the 14. Binty on the inside line here. Look at Luke Garrett. Great commitment from Garrett round the outside line. They're not even touching. They might get close coming down the hill. There's a little bit of a glance there. Garrett through. Binty gives him a little bit of a tap as well. This is just down to close racing. Steve Powell in behind. Then Tony Smith. There's John Bowler running in third place. So all this is for fourth place at the moment. Luke Garrett's got the upper hand. Super racing between those guys. Look at Garrett's truck, well set up, throws it into McLaren, round into clearways they go. Binty getting defensive now. Steve Powell's going to try and pop the number 3 machine up the inside line. The man from Rootham Heath, very much local for Steve Powell here, the former Division 2 champion. Had a brief dalliance with Division 1 last year. Looks outside, now tucks back on the inside line as they go on the last lap, down into Paddock Hill Bend. What's Powell going to do? I think he's going to go for the cutback. Binty's got it covered at the moment, so there isn't a gap, but Powell will carry the momentum up the hill. There's half a gap there. He's going to go to the outside, but so too does Tony Smith coming in, and they're 3 wide coming up into Druids. It's a Division 2 sandwich. Smith on the outside, Binty's still there. Smith now on the inside line. Binty comes across, clatters in. Powell looks down the inside line on the grass. Incredible racing, and Steve Powell's gone through. Binty opposite locks, and he's going to lose it. Takes the back end of Tony Smith, who carries on. Binty's still going. Goodness me, what a race this has been. Steve Powell is still there. Mika Mackinnon still leading it. And Binty, problems for him. Marco Donk is off in the background as well. Here is Tony Smith. Smith still running well, and that really was physical on that last lap as they went down the hill. There's the 16 of John Bowler. It is all very, very physical indeed, and we've got red flags. The result's going to go back a lap. We've got Donk's truck off the circuit. It started moving again, but the organisers, before things get too chaotic, red flagging the race. Mika Mackinnon will take the wins. It's going to be a red and a checker. Mackinnon the winner from Simon Cole. Just remember, the result will go back a lap. There is our winner, the Mad Croc. Mackinnon taking it. Simon Cole will be second from John Bowler and Luke Garrett. So it's another win for the Flying Finn here. Here's how the official result ended. Mackinnon from Cole and Bowler, then Luke Garrett and Adam Bint. Steve Powell 6th from Tony Smith. Marco Donk in 8th place. Trevor Martin and James Aikenhead completed the top 10 from Andrew Fulcher, Brad Smith, Jim Bennett and Paul McCuskey.
The start was very good. We passed already 7 cars in the first lap, and then just driving through and having fun.
The race was red flagged because of a lot of oil out on track, and nearly accounted for you by all accounts.
Yeah, it did. I see the oil down on the lap before that, and we look, and I look for the red flags. There's no red flags, so obviously we carry on racing. Mika went off on it. I'll come down there. Then they've red flagged it, but I was too late. Yeah, I went straight across at the corner, about 100 mile an hour, so nearly had me. Yeah.
Promises to be a much better day today then, as second place in the first race today has proved.
Yes. Let's hope it stays dry for the weekend and we can get some good points and see if we can creep up the championship.
John, well done. That's a nice way to kick off Sunday with a podium result after a tough season. It's been quite up and down for you.
Yeah, I had a couple of issues with the brakes out the year, so just nice to get on top of things.
I mean, how difficult was that race to judge in terms of your starting position and getting through? Because it's always tight, isn't it, into the first corner with so many trucks in Division 2?
Yeah, I mean, for some reason there's a hold up at the front and just sort of opened an opportunity and took it. So.
And with Adam Bint now, your arms are covered in. Now, I'm guessing this isn't some kind of skincare process. This is as a result of some major failure on your truck and quite a lot of work that's going on right now.
Yeah, we had a big collision with 2 of the other racers, but unfortunate, but these things happen, and it rips an oil cooler off. It's pulled the back axle out, 2 tyres, a bonnet, the bumper, the wings, everything's been ripped off, so we've been frantically trying to weld it all back together to get out for the next race.
Andrew Fulcher, I think this is what they call a character building weekend, isn't it?
It definitely is, yeah. Truck was going really well this weekend. It's a real shame. I'm really disappointed, more for the team and for the sponsors than anything else. But yeah, it's motor racing. During the race, there was somebody's bumper on the track, and I went over the top of it. But we think now it's sheared the compressor pipe or pulley off. So trying to get it done, but yeah, doesn't look promising at the moment.
The penultimate race of the year for the British Truck Racing Championship Division 1. Fran Smith on pole position with Terry Gibbon alongside. Row 2, Stuart Oliver and David Jenkins. You'd be brave to bet against either of those for a win here. Michael Oliver and Shane Brereton on row 3. Ray Coleman and Ricky Collett next from Ryan Smith and Luke Taylor, Matt Summerfield and Simon Reed off the back. Great onboard footage from Stuart Oliver. Oliver lines up third on the grid. Once again on the front row, it's Terry Gibbon. He'll be hoping for better luck than he had in race number 1. So it's Gibbon and Smith. And look at Stuart Oliver getting involved, looking down the inside line. Oh, barely room. And Oliver, was there a little bit of contact there on Gibbon? Just close racing probably. Oliver up to second. Fran Smith the leader. Dutchman out front. He's going to grab the inside line going into Druids. Gets it stopped well. Dave Jenkins on the inside line. Ricky Collett looking around the outside, but it's Smith still holding on. Dave Jenkins up into third. Terry Gibbon getting physical there with Dave Jenkins, and Jenkins held on well. That's the mark of a champion from Jenkins as Brereton goes round the outside line and tries to squeeze back on. Tell you what, Jenkins knows he's been in a race here. On board with Oliver. Second position up into Surtees, round into McLaren, the right-hander. Ricky Collett side by side with Gibbon, who finds himself relegated a few spaces now from that front row slot. Michael Oliver and then Matt Summerfield. Ray Coleman on the inside line, the burn up on the outside from Ryan Smith. What can Ryan do? Remember, second in that previous race. Oliver flashes his lights. He's coming through on the inside line, takes the lead going into paddock. The Dutchman is down to second. Oliver leads from Fran Smith. Great view coming up into Druids under the Brands Hatch Bridge. Photographer's gallery on the inside of Druids if you ever fancy taking the time to come and watch the racing. Oh, and contact there, was there, on the back of Matt Summerfield. Like Michael Oliver trying to go up the inside line. Maybe left his braking a tad late. I don't think there was anything malicious in that. On Cooper Straight they go. Shane Brereton in the 17, now up into third place. Brereton chasing second position in the championship. Stuart Oliver currently second, 3 points clear of David Jenkins. Jenkins in turn just 2 points ahead of Shane Brereton. So it's all to play for between those 3 drivers for second position in the championship. Brereton's got to try and get past Fran Smith as well, a little bit too far back at the minute. Dave Jenkins will be hounding him. Jenkins needs to get up the order and try and dice with Stuart Oliver to take some points away from Stuart for second in the championship. This is the third race of the weekend. There's still another 10 points available from the final race, the big dual class race at the end of the year. Through goes Collett, through goes Gibbon. Ryan Smith now ahead of Matt Summerfield, and here comes Brereton. Smith is forced wide but still hangs on to position, and Shane Brereton turns in, goes through, turns into Paddock Hill Bend. He's on Cooper Straight now with Dave Jenkins, who spots a gap on the inside line as Dave got the momentum in the digraph machine. A little bit of contact between himself and Brereton going into Surtees, and running wide there as a result is Brereton, who forces Dave Jenkins off the track. Dave won't be too happy about that, but having said it, didn't look malicious to my mind from Shane Brereton. There was touching before and afterwards. The officials will have a very close look at what's going on for sure. There though is the number 1, Ryan Smith up ahead of Terry Gibbon. Matt Summerfield down the inside of Terry going into paddock. Ray Coleman in behind in the number 2. Then it is Luke Taylor in King Klaus, that truck is known. I should have probably mentioned that in race number 1, which we saw him take the win. So Fran Smith from Brereton, battle scarred then. Collett with Smith looking up the inside line. Ryan Smith goes past Collett. You can see once you get your nose in front, they just chop across. Collett there did well not to accelerate more out of Druids and get into the back end of the champion. Multi-champion Stuart Oliver out front. Good run from Franz Smith in second place as side by side go Summerfield and Collett. Matt Summerfield's going to have the initiative in the HRVS machine on the inside line here, and has a little bit of contact there with Ricky Collett. If you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing. They are definitely racing and rubbing at the same time, and it's Summerfield that comes through. Collett cedes the place, Gibbon getting involved, Ray Coleman getting a run around the outside line here. Let's see what Ray can do in the Lantern truck. He's trying to get around the outside of Terry Gibbon with Luke Taylor in the mix as well. Taylor in 9th place, Simon Reed a little bit further back in 10th position. But super racing going on here in the Division 1 trucks, and still out front it's Stuart Oliver getting clear, but we're very much focused on what's going on midfield. Matt Summerfield down into Graham Hill Bend once again. Ricky Collett in hot pursuit. Then Terry Gibbon. I thought that Gibbon might be on for a win here from front row of the grid, but it wasn't to be. Second place now being disputed. Ryan Smith goes through on the inside of Franz Smith. So Smith going through into second place. Let's see if that did pan out as they exit clearways. It does. So Smith down to third, coming under some pressure himself now from Shane Brereton, who is there in 4th place. Brereton challenging for 3rd. Race lead though, Stuart Oliver. Look at the lead. There's Oliver, massive lead. He's got clear track in front of him and clear track behind him as well. What a great place for Stuart Oliver to be. Sure, he'd love to be mixing it a little bit, but he wants the win. He wants to close down on that second position in the championship, and it's looking very good for him at the moment because he's outscoring his nearest points rival, David Jenkins, who's a little bit further back. Smith still in 3rd place though. Dutchman from the West Country racer. Shane Brereton still there in 4th position. Here's Ryan Smith. The damage on the truck showing that he has no trouble getting involved at all. And he's in P2 at the moment. He's got the fastest lap of the race as well, Ryan Smith. So he's closing on Stuart Oliver, but I don't think there's going to be enough time for him to close down and maybe grab the lead. But with truck racing, you never know. With the likes of Stuart Oliver and Ryan Smith, you never know either, as Matt Summerfield looks down the inside line here, but he hasn't quite got the momentum. It's Brereton now down the inside, challenging for 3rd place. Brereton goes through on the inside of Franz Smith, and through as well goes Matt Summerfield. Summerfield through, safe and well. He's now got a challenge for 3rd place as well. Looks up the inside line, but there isn't room. Brereton goes across, grabs the position. Ricky Collett coming up in the mix as well. Then Terry Gibbon, Ray Coleman side by side with him, looking around the outside line with Luke Taylor in the mix as well. Shane Brereton still ahead of Matt Summerfield. Matt, the multi-champion, lost the title last year to Ryan Smith. Back with the race leader, could check up on Stuart Oliver. Got his lights on, doesn't need them, nobody in front. Really clear traffic, wonderful view of a massive crowd, who I think are going to see Stuart Oliver take the win, unless Ryan Smith can bring the Taylor's PT Hire truck a little bit closer to the race leader. He's got so much work to do. Surely that climb is going to be insurmountable for Ryan Smith to come through and grab the win. He's got clear track as well, and look at the gap behind him. He's in the middle of nowhere. So 1st and 2nd, plenty of room. The Kelsa Synergy truck there, that puts the perspective on it. So pretty much the run down from Druids to the bottom of Graham Hill Bend, the gap between 1st and 2nd, as Summerfield and Brereton continue to squabble over 3rd place. So still there then, Stuart Oliver out front. Podium battle, maybe the one we should focus on for the moment. Brereton and Summerfield still very much at it. Oliver on the climb up in towards Paddock Hill Bend on the last lap. So Oliver, the race leader. Battle for second's got about a lap and a quarter. Sorry, for 3rd place, lap and a quarter to go. Summerfield's going to have a sniff down the inside line. Now goes to the outside, rubs the back end of the 17 truck and winds up in the gravel. This could be a hit, but he points it in the right direction. Summerfield back on track. Good recovery from Matt Summerfield, but loses a shed load of points potentially, but a super recovery. He just tagged the back end of Shane Brereton's truck, so Brereton is going to finish in third place. Oliver still up front. There's Brereton. Big group of trucks coming into Druids, headed by Ricky Collett. Here's the race leader. Stuart Oliver's going to grab his first race win of the weekend. He seems to make a habit of winning at Brands Hatch. Stuart Oliver absolutely loves it, and he has really set the benchmark in this one, beating this year's champion. Oliver is going to take the win in the Volvo. There he goes across the line. It's a big gap, very nearly 5 seconds over Ryan Smith, and still the racing continues. Collett coming under pressure from Coleman. Ray's going to have a look, maybe on the inside line as they come out of clearways. He's sniffing away at it. He's going to try and get the pedal to the metal. He's got the momentum, and Collett, he's under big pressure here, and Coleman goes through. Great stuff by Coleman, who just pips, I think. Yes, he does. Collett on the line. Super stuff from Ray Coleman. A couple of judicials after that race. It was Stuart Oliver from Ryan Smith, Ray Coleman third, then Ricky Collett and Luke Taylor, Terry Gibbon and Fran Smith next with David Jenkins, Michael Oliver and Simon Reed. Excluded with Shane Brereton and Matt Summerfield.
Stuart, we meet you partway through Sunday and fresh from a race win. How's your weekend so far?
Yeah, it's good. It went on a big up there. Yesterday was a struggle. This morning was a struggle. We had problems with the truck, with the suspension and dampers, and so the performance of the engine we had a problem with. But we managed to get rid of that and sort of reap the benefits in that last race. We were down into the 59 seconds a lap, so sort of low 59 seconds a lap. So we're more than happy with that. And so she's back on song and going well.
It's kind of all about the race for second place in the championship now. You're sitting there in second, as far as we can tell from the points, with 3 races down. But Shane Brereton can still overtake you, and also there's a fight between Shane and David Jenkins for third and fourth too.
That's right, yeah, absolutely. I think I was 7 points a lead when I came, and I'm still 7 points, but it is doable. There's 10 points in a race. I've got to finish. Or I haven't got to finish, and Shane's got to be up in the top 3 for it to be a problem for me, but it's still all to play for.
I mean, is it all about trying to get through the traffic as early as you can on those opening couple of laps, ideally?
Yeah, when the fast guys have a bad previous race and the fast guys are up the front, and that's no disrespect to anybody, but it's hard to get past 12 trucks very quickly from the back, from the reverse grid. So, yeah, I seen Stuart earlier, and we was taking like 6/10 a lap, but they'd shortened the race because of the incidents that's happened, unfortunately, for everybody today. And I knew there wasn't enough time, but I still tried, but it just wasn't enough.
That's all we've got time for in our first programme. Join us for the conclusion here from Brands Hatch next time. Thanks for watching.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Brands Hatch. Congratulations of course to Ryan Smith, who sewed up the championship in our first programme. Still plenty of trophies to be decided here in our second helping. The last 2 races of the season coming up for you now.
Penultimate race of the season for Division 2. Paddy Mack, Paul McCumsky on pole position with Jim Bennett, then Brad Smith and Andrew Fawkes with James Aikenhead and Trevor Martin in row 3. Tony Smith on row 4 with Marco Donk, Steve Powell and Adam Binter on row 5. Then Luke Garrett and John Bowler, Simon Cole and Mika Mackinnon on row 7. Row 8, Joanne Eason with Wayne Eason, husband and wife together. Eric Forstrom and John Powell complete the 18 truck grid. And it's the BL Trig machine of Paul McCumsky who's going to lead them away. Jim Bennett in second. Brad Smith looking up the inside line there as they go into Paddock Hill Bend. Brad Smith indeed into second. James Aikenhead looking down the inside line. Marco Donk under pressure from Steve Powell in yellow. Round the outside goes John Bowler, but it's Paddy Mack that leads them. Smith in second. Bennett still in third place and hanging on the outside line. Massive field, 18 trucks. the Division 2 trucks this weekend very nearly filling the Brands Hatch circuit on their own. If they'd had 2 more, that would be it. The maximum you can run is 20 trucks around Brands Hatch as Marco Donk goes on the grass. Won't be very popular with the circuit owners because the grass here, wherever you look at it, the circuit's absolutely pristine. MSV, Motorsport Vision, that run the circuit, always present an immaculate venue. But also they love the trucks coming and racing, so I'm sure they'll forgive these guys and girl a little bit of leeway to rip up the odd bit of turf. All in the pursuit of entertainment, of course. So as we look at the trucks coming onto the main straight, once again Jim Bennett running wide, so too is Mika Mäkinen. Mäkinen around the outside line of John Bowler. Trevor Martin side by side with Jim Bennett, and it's Martin that looks through on the inside as they go into Paddock Hill Bend. Bowler in behind. Mäkinen, of course, sewed up the championship at Pembrey. He's got the outside line. The Mad Croc making good progress here. James Aikenhead goes through in the number 8. Mäkinen still making progress with right in behind the number 3 of Steve Powell. Jim Bennett fending off Trevor Martin at the moment. Bennett starting from the front row of the grid. Trevor starting on the outside of row 3. Mika Mäkinen's come through though. The Mad Croc past the big crowd on the first part of South Bank. Paddy Mack doing a grand job up front. It's Tony Smith in 3rd position. Championship wise, Tony Smith still 2nd in the championship, by my reckoning now 20 points clear of Adam Bint. So barring any big problems, Tony Smith's going to wrap up 2nd position in this race. Binty on 152, Simon Cole on 143. Simon Cole still could sneak in for 3rd place. We're looking at Cole at the back of this group in the Beast, challenging Steve Powell. But Jim Bennett and Trevor Martin still very much enjoying their race. Martin down the inside line again, Bennett on the outside. John Bowler coming up in the mix as well in the 14, and John trying to work out which way to go. You'd say that probably the inside line to follow Trevor Martin here as they come up towards Druids. It could be a difficult one to call because look at Jim Bennett still hanging on the outside line. Jim, I think the oldest driver in the meeting. I reckon Paddy Mack's probably the 2nd oldest. When I was having the conversation with Jim at Thruxton earlier in the year, if Jim was to hang up his crash helmet, then I think it would leave Paddy Mack as the oldest driver in the paddock. Good stuff out front. Brad Smith still in 2nd. Tony Smith in the 46 is there, the Sisu, and Mika Mäkinen doing his best to try and close down on them, but Tony Smith here, 2nd position in the championship. In the offing for him, Joanne and Wayne Eason together on track. Wayne in the white and blue machine. Immediately ahead of John Powell in the number 6. So John about to try and get stuck in too, but it's Paddy Mack who's going to win this one by the look of it. Goes through Druids on the last lap. Mika Mäkinen closing in on the 2nd and 3rd place trucks. Paddy Mack, having said that, goes a little bit wide on the exit of Druids. Down into Graham Hill Bend. Paul McCumsky is going to add another win to his collection. He was 3rd in the championship last year. To be fair, he's not that far away from the front runners in this year's championship. He was only 1 point away from Simon Cole coming into the meeting. The sun low in the sky now in this early November race meeting, and it's Paul McCumsky still there. 2nd position is Brad Smith. Brad's had a track limits warning though. That might be impinged in the final result as Paul McCumsky comes across the line. It's a fight though further back. McCumsky takes it. Brad Smith 2nd across the line from Mika Mäkinen and Tony Smith. Great finish. Now look at Simon Cole trying everything that he can to get on terms here with Steve Powell, who's in the mix as well. Cross the line they go, but it's Paul McCumsky that has won the penultimate race of the year for Division 2. 2nd position on the road, Brad Smith, but he gets a penalty, winds up 4th behind Mäkinen, who's 2nd, and Smith, who is 3rd. James Aikenhead 5th from Trevor Martin and John Bowler. Simon Cole 8th from Jim Bennett and Marco Donk. Finishes completed by John Powell, Joanne Eason, Eric Forstrom and Wayne Eason.
Congratulations, Paddy. You have to wait all season for a win, and then it's one at Pembrey and one here at Brands now.
Yeah. I mean, luck was on my side a little bit. I was surprised we got 3 bites of the cherry on that restart because on the 2nd one it actually come up on the lights. No more chances, no more restarts. It was probably only because they didn't have to recover Joanne out the gravel. But yeah, I mean it was a short race, but a win's a win, and I'm happy to take it.
Kelso pace truck for the final race of the year. Pole position Simon Reed with Luke Taylor, Michael Oliver and Terry Gibbon behind, then Ray Coleman and Matt Summerfield. They head the Division 1 runners. Division 2 headed by Trevor Martin and Brad Smith, Luke Garrett and Steve Powell on row 2, John Bowler and Paul McCumsky on the third row. Still got some trophies to be settled. By my reckoning, Stuart Oliver has already done second position. He's 10 points clear of Dave Jenkins. So if Jenkins wins with a non-finish for Oliver, I reckon Stuart gets it on race wins. But Jenkins still needs to outscore Shane Brereton here. He's got a 5-point advantage. And in Division 2, Adam Bent looking to try and fend off Simon Cole for third place in the table, with Tony Smith now confirmed second in Division 2. Away we go. It's a cracking start. Wonderful to see the Division 2 runners as well. A little bit sideways there for Michael Oliver. Ray Coleman up the inside line, but it's Simon Reed who heads them into Druids. Second position, King Klaus driven by Luke Taylor around the outside line of Terry Gibbon, who's come up from row 2 to fight Gibbon, in fact, up into second place. Fourth position is Matt Summerfield from 6 on the grid. So a good start by Matt. Then we've got Michael Oliver side by side. Jenkins and Oliver Senior, and Ryan Smith getting stuck in as well. 3 wide and a bit of a clatter. Ryan takes to the grass. He'd love to sign off with a win and bookend his weekend with wins, the first one of which obviously secured the championship. He's got a lot of work to do here though from the very back. 10th on the grid. This huge crowd here at Brands Hatch. The MSV team really do know how to put on a show. It's not just about the motor racing. There's a fun fair, there's karts, there's a massive firework display at the end of the day. The truck parade, so much for everybody to see. And of course topped off with this wonderful racing that we've got here. Jenkins looks to the outside of Oliver Senior, through paddock, down the bottom of Halewoods Hill, up towards Druids they go again. Still Reed out front. Gibbon coming under pressure again, but holding on to second place. Luke Taylor's got his mirrors full of blue. It's Matt Summerfield still there. Ray Coleman and Shane Brereton in the mix as well. Brereton keen to put the exclusion from the previous race behind him. So too Matt Summerfield, the Division 2 boys getting stuck in. Mika Mackinnon up ahead of Trevor Martin. Then John Bowler, there is the beast, chasing third position in the championship. Simon Cole. Down the Cooper Straight they go. And Simon's done some great drives in the beast so far this year. At the head of Division 2 though, it's Luke Garrett as we watch John Bowler chasing Trevor Martin. And then Simon Cole right in behind with Tony Smith confirmed second in the championship in the blue Sisu. Coming off Clark Curve and onto the Brabham Straight, so things relatively settled in Division 2. But here comes Mackinnon. How much progress can Mackinnon make in his way up through the field? And I think that's put him up to third place, Mika Mackinnon, because yes, in yellow up ahead, just going out of shot. Here's the race leader, Luke Garrett. Then second position in class is Steve Powell. Mackinnon up to third. Then in fourth place, Brad Smith, John Bowler side by side, and looking on the outside line there is Simon Cole looking to make progress, and Simon just getting a wheel off onto the curbs. Beersy still chasing the 14 machine of John Bowler, and Simon Cole in front. Meanwhile we go back to the outright and Division 1 battle, and Gibbon coming under pressure here from Luke Taylor, who gets a very good run indeed. Now, how much room are they going to give each other into Paddock Hill Bend? Well, Terry Gibbon is a clean, fair racer, sticks to the inside line. He's giving Luke Taylor room, and that gives Taylor momentum up the hill, up into second position. Taylor, who started on the outside of the front row, back into second place with Simon Reed still the race leader. Ray Coleman on the inside line. Here comes Ryan Smith. You can see Smith a fair way back from this lead group, but it's all close there. Brereton getting stuck in. A little bit of a rub there on the number 2 truck of Ray Coleman. Coleman's MAN. And we'll have more for you, the conclusion after the break. Welcome back to Brands Hatch. This is the battle in Division 1. Terry Gibbon coming under pressure from Matt Summerfield. Then we've got Ray Coleman and Shane Brereton in behind as well. Ryan Smith a fair way back behind that group. Meanwhile, some great battling in Division 2. John Bowler, I reckon, potential future champion. Same too with the man in front of him. You've got to say Simon Cole, but for some bad luck, might have been champion maybe this year. You've got to have the rub of the green as well as everything else going with you in truck racing, and indeed in any form of motorsport as the Division 1 runners go through. Ryan Smith, you can see again, has been battling hard. The bit of damage on the front of that as he tries to challenge Ray Coleman, with Shane Brereton in behind. Cooper Straight, that's where they are at the moment, past the big crowd on South Bank. Luke Taylor is the race leader, so Luke Taylor got through from Simon Reed. Terry Gibbon third, Matt Summerfield in fourth place. Luke Taylor setting a fair old pace here and has the fastest lap of the race as well at the moment. Simon Reed still defending second from Terry Gibbon. So here they come out of Clark Curve, relatively settled between the top four at the minute, but no, it isn't, because that's the leader. Luke Taylor slowing. Taylor loses the lead, and all of a sudden we've got a quartet. The back of the quartet for the lead is Ryan Smith. Luke Taylor slowing, he's got a problem. They're closing down on Paddy Mack. And look at that, two trucks coming up the hill, tied together. Shane Brereton right on the back of Ray Coleman. Look as they come round the corner. Stuart Oliver goes past, and it looks like Brereton's tried to mount him, hopefully got free as the appropriate forces come into play going around Druids. Tony Smith side by side, and on the outside line of Trevor Martin. Good racing going on there. John Powell in the mix as well. Tony Smith does get the momentum in the Sisu. So now we've got a quartet for the lead headed by Simon Reed. So it's Reed out front, Terry Gibbon second, then the next two drivers have wrapped up most of the previous year's championships between them. Matt Summerfield and double champion now, Ryan Smith. Smith putting pressure on, side by side for the lead. Terry Gibbon looks down the inside line here, Simon Reed side by side across the line into Paddock Hill Bend. Terry Gibbon takes the lead, so Simon Reed loses the lead for the second time in the race. Here's the race leader in Division 2. Luke Garrett's going to have a double. The man who picked him for the Division 2 title a couple of years ago, Steve Powell, is there. Mika Mackinnon third. Simon Cole is in fourth place. Luke Taylor brings the King Klaus truck into retirement. He's still got the fastest lap. Meanwhile, look at this, so physical for the outright lead. It's second place, rather, I should say. It's Paddy Mack who's being passed there. The previous race winner in Division 2, still out front at the moment, Terry Gibbon, but it's a big bun fight on for second place. Simon Reed there at the moment, Matt Summerfield pressurising him, and then at the back of this trio, dicing over second place, is Ryan Smith, but off goes Simon Reed onto the gravel. The Sherwood truck clouts the barrier, rejoins just behind Stuart Oliver. That's a shame, because Simon Reed was showing good pace. I'm not sure if he's going to pull it up, but now the race leader Terry Gibbon, second position is Matt Summerfield, so we've got the last two champions, second and third. This year's champion piling on the pressure. So Terry Gibbon out front, Ryan Smith goes wide here. This could be about momentum up into Druids, and he's trying the outside run. Is there enough grip there? Stuart Oliver's trying to get in on the mix as well. Matt Summerfield runs wide on the exit of Druids. He thinks that the inside line is his down to, but look at the acceleration down the hill by Ryan Smith up into second place. Tony Smith goes through in Division 2. Smith up ahead of Brad Smith, and then John Bowler, and out of the race as well. Shane Brereton is out, so too is Simon Reed, who led the race earlier on. It's Terry Gibbon, the race leader, but now Ryan Smith, who looked so far behind in the early stages, is a real contender for this final race of the year. Here's the second place man in Division 2, that's Steve Powell, and making the move for the lead now is Ryan Smith, and the double champion goes through, passes Terry Gibbon, gets the race lead, going down into Paddock. Gibbon still in second place, Matt Summerfield back in third, Stuart Oliver's in fourth, but Ryan Smith is going to bookend the meeting with wins, a championship and 2 wins by the look of it, but let's not talk too soon, because we've seen so many retirements at the end of this very physical 2 days of racing. Luke Garrett still leading Division 2. Great weekend for Luke Garrett, and another driver, another potential champion. So many of them in both classes, and that's why it's so competitive, and that's why the fans come back again and again to watch it, as Terry Gibbon is coming under pressure from Matt Summerfield now. Division 2 runners still giving us some superb entertainment as well. Trevor Martin being closed in on by the race leader, Ryan Smith. Given, though, driving well here in second place from the multi-champion, the HRVS MAN, though, still there. The first non-MAN is Stuart Oliver in the Volvo, and he's getting stuck in, trying to close down. You can see visibility, a little bit of a premium. We're on to lap 14. This is the last lap of the race now as Oliver crosses the line. Ryan Smith is going to make it 2 wins. What a way to finish his year. Tony Smith running in 5th position in Division 2. Division 2 runners getting stuck in. Let's watch for the race leader. Closing down on Trevor Martin. Luke Garrett still got a lap and a quarter to go in his MAN, the head of the Division 2 field. Steve Powell still in second. So it's Garrett from Powell, Mika Mäkinen in third. Those guys seem to have managed to get on terms with Mäkinen this weekend, which is great to see as Ryan Smith goes through on the inside of Trevor Martin. Martin running 9th in Division 2. Here's the view such as it is from Stuart Oliver. Oliver back in 4th place will take the runner-up slot in the championship. No doubting this year's champion. 2 wins for him. The first race of the weekend secured the championship title, and he's going to bag a second win to underline that title in front of this massive crowd still stuck in the traffic. Ryan Smith takes the win. Terry Gibbon is going to take second place. Gibbon second, Matt Summerfield third, Stuart Oliver in 4th place. Division 2 heading the way of Luke Garrett. It's been a fine drive from Garrett here, ahead of Steve Powell. Garrett comes down to the checkered flag. Class win again, a double for Garrett. Steve Powell second, Mika Mäkinen third in class. Let's take a look at the outright result, the final race of the year. Ryan Smith wins from Terry Gibbon and Matt Summerfield, Stuart Oliver, Ray Coleman and David Jenkins. Michael Oliver 7th from Luke Garrett, Division 2 winner, then Steve Powell, Mika Mäkinen from Simon Cole, Tony Smith, John Powell, Brad Smith, John Bowler, Trevor Martin and Paddy Mack in 17th.
Terry, our first opportunity to catch up with you this weekend. A long-time race leader in that, but eventually Ryan wound you in.
Yeah, it was an exciting race, that one. Got a reasonably good start, and then managed to run with all of the front runners, and managed to pick a couple off. And then halfway through, I thought I could go, and then I thought I got a good enough gap. But towards the end, it got very slippery. There was something on the track, I don't know what it was, but yeah, Ryan just managed to get up the inside of me going into out of the last corner. But yeah, it was a good race, exciting.
Ray Coleman, that could well be a first for me, because coming in along the main straight and into Paddock Hill Bend, there was not only you, but there was also a passenger behind in Shane Brereton.
Yeah, well, that is our business. We're in the recovery industry, so it worked out quite well. I don't think he'd be too happy when he gets his invoice for it. But yes, I think that was a first. I think it picked him up at the top of the straight, and he was hooked on there right the way up to the top of the Paddock Hill Bend, and then become detached. But as you can see, quite a bit of damage all around. I think he'd done his radiator as well, but that's what you get for nudging.
Otherwise, it looked like a pretty decent run for you.
Yeah, no, it was a good run. Conditions were changing from what they were earlier, but no, it was a good run. I think lap times were good, and I think we was all pretty well compact there. So yeah, I think it made a good race and good entertainment for the crowd.
What a way to finish the weekend, Ryan. I mean, that's a tremendous race, and your blast from the back, again, ever spectacular.
Fairy tale, really, wasn't it? It's like, diesel down on the circuit early on, so I wasn't really making much progress to start with. Yeah. But then bit by bit, I seemed to get used to the conditions, and delighted to go out that way. It's fantastic, and I say again, the turnout of spectators has been absolutely fantastic. I'm proud as punch. I'm really happy.
That grand final was one worth waiting for, wasn't it, Luke? I mean, not only for pure entertainment value, but for a win for you as well, and a convincing win in Division 2.
Yeah, it's a very good finish to the season. I really enjoyed racing it. It got very slippery near the end, but yeah, it's after our DNF the race before, it was definitely worth waiting for.
What was the key to getting the lead that you had in the end? Was it just pushing hard early on and making the break?
Yeah, it was just the start. I mean, the two in front started quite slow, so I just went for the sort of the apex of the corner, and we come out in first, and just kept on pulling.
Well done, Steve. That's a nice way to end your weekend. Luke just got a bit too far in front, it looked like.
Yeah, no, Luke had a good start and we followed him through. So, no, really pleased. We've had a hard weekend. We've had a lot of trouble, a lot of damage, and we was lucky just to get out there for that. So, bring the boys home in second place. Really, really pleased with that. But it is a good way to finish, and the crowds here are amazing. So, it's been a good show, I think.
I mean, it has been amazing, and that's partly down to the format that we have nobody can really get away with the reverse grid every single race.
No, it makes it good for the spectators. Otherwise, it would be a possession, especially in Division 1. So it's good racing, good overtaking. The crowds want to see a bit of damage anyway, you know what I mean? As long as no one gets hurt and it's just a few fiberglass panels, then it's great for the spectators and the crowd. So,
I was going to say, you'll be back for more in 2018.
Well, 100%. I've been doing it 11 years, so yeah, I'm going to squeeze one more year out of her anyway, so we'll see what happens.
Great driving in this final race. Well done on second place.
Lovely, thank you. Cheers, mate.
Here's the final table. Division 1, Ryan Smith takes the championship from Stuart Oliver. David Jenkins in third, then Shane Brereton fourth from Matt Summerfield. Ray Coleman sixth from Terry Gibbon, Ollie James and Michael Oliver. Luke Taylor in 10th. Division 2, Mika Mackinnon champion from Tony Smith. Simon Cole nabbing third place in that last race from Adam Binch, Steve Powell and Paddy Mack.
As ever, the truck racing season finishes with this amazing lit-up truck parade around the Brands Hatch circuit. It's a fitting way to end the year. What a fantastic season it's been. Congratulations to Ryan Smith, the Division 1 champion. He successfully defended his title, and the Flying Finn, Mika Mackinnon, who won Division 2. We hope you've enjoyed the racing from the Truck Racing Championship this year, and also that you'll join us again in 2018.